Imagine a world where the meek inherit the earth, not through divine intervention, but through a terrifying metamorphosis born of desperation. A world where the most peaceful among us harbor a dormant power so fierce it can shake the foundations of empires. Mystics, chosen ones, lean in close, for tonight we peel back the veil on a truth so profound, so chilling, it will forever change how you view the quiet souls who walk among us. You've heard the whispers, haven't you? The tales of ordinary people pushed beyond their limits, transforming into forces of nature that leave even the mightiest trembling in their wake. These aren't mere stories. They're glimpses into the abyss that lurks within us all. What I'm about to share isn't some esoteric wisdom or a lesson in self-actualization. No, this is a raw, unvarnished truth about human nature, one so potent it could reshape your entire understanding of power, peace, and the price of pushing too far. This insight comes to us through the blood-stained pen of Alexandr Solzhenitsyn, a man who stared into the heart of darkness and returned to tell the tale. A Russian novelist and historian, Solzhenitsyn wasn't content with second-hand knowledge. He lived his truth, enduring 8 hellish years in Soviet prisons and labor camps, followed by 3 years of exile. In the crucible of that suffering, he forged an understanding of the human condition that few can match. So steel yourselves, chosen ones, for the words you're about to hear carry the weight of countless broken souls and the terrible wisdom that only true suffering can birth. Are you prepared to see the world as it truly is? To understand the awesome, terrifying potential that slumbers within the most unassuming among us? Then listen well, for Solzhenitsyn speaks, and his truth will shake you to your very core. The most terrifying force of death comes from the hands of men who wanted to be left alone. They try so very hard to mind their own business and provide for themselves and those they love. They resist every impulse to fight back, knowing the forced and permanent change of life that will come from it. They know that the moment they fight back, their lives, as they have lived them, are over. The moment the men who wanted to be left alone are forced to fight back, it is a form of suicide. They are literally killing off who they used to be, which is why, when forced to take up violence, these men who wanted to be left alone fight with unholy vengeance against those who murdered their former lives. They fight with raw hate and a drive that cannot be fathomed by those who are merely play-acting at politics and terror. True terror will arrive at these people's door, and they will cry, scream, and beg for mercy. But it will fall upon the deaf ears of the men who just wanted to be left alone. Let those words sink in, chosen ones. Feel their weight, their implications, their terrifying truth. Imagine, if you will, a man. He wakes each day to the rising sun, the warm rays brushing against his face, offering a new beginning. He is not a soldier. He is not a politician. He is a father, a husband, a brother. His desires are simple. He wishes to provide for his family, to cultivate his garden, to nurture the love that flourishes in his home. He longs for nothing more than the peace that comes from a life well lived, from the laughter of children and the comfort of shared meals. But beneath this tranquil surface lies an undercurrent of unrest, an ever-present threat. As he tends to his daily life, unseen forces conspire against him. These forces may come in the form of oppressive regimes, greedy corporations, or the tides of war that sweep across nations like a relentless storm. Each day, he resists the impulse to rise, to fight back, to defend what is rightfully his. He understands the cost of resistance. He knows that the moment he picks up arms, when he steps into the realm of violence, his life, as he knows it, will end. It is a metamorphosis fraught with pain, akin to a form of suicide. He would not merely be surrendering his peace. He would be sacrificing his very identity. Think for a moment about what it means to surrender one's identity. For years, this man has existed within the embrace of normalcy, crafting a life filled with love and laughter. To take up arms would mean to extinguish the light of that life, to bury the dreams he has nurtured. It is a death, one that lingers in the shadows, whispering fears of violence and destruction. But as the noose of oppression tightens around his neck, there comes a moment, an inflection point, where the scales tip irrevocably. The line is crossed, and he is thrust into a maelstrom of chaos. In this moment, he transforms. The rage that brews beneath the surface explodes forth, and with it comes an unholy vengeance, a fire ignited by the ashes of his former self. He fights not merely for his own survival, but as a last desperate stand against the murder of his life. He fights with a fury born of despair, with raw hatred that cannot be comprehended by those who have never been pushed to the edge. They, the powerful, the indifferent, may play at politics. They may engage in debates from the comfort of their ivory towers, but they will never understand the depth of true terror. For the man who wanted to be left alone, the stakes are higher than mere ideology. They are personal, visceral. Each swing of the sword, each pull of the trigger, is laced with the memories of what once was, the laughter of his children, the warmth of his spouse, the tranquility of a peaceful evening spent under the stars. This is the currency of his fight, the emotional fuel that propels him forward into the abyss. When a man who seeks solitude and peace is pushed to the brink, he does not merely become a soldier. He transforms into a beast. This beast is fueled not just by anger, but by a deep sense of betrayal. The betrayal of the ideals he once held dear. He becomes a primal force, unchained and raw, embodying the very essence of humanity's darkest depths. Now, mystics, let's unpack this profound observation. Let's dive deep into its implications, not just for understanding history, but for comprehending the world around us today and the untapped power that resides within each of us. First, consider the nature of the individuals Solzhenitsyn describes. These are not warriors. They're not revolutionaries or freedom fighters. They're ordinary people who desire nothing more than to live their lives in peace. They are, in many ways, the backbone of any society, the quiet majority who keep the world turning through their simple desire to work, love, and live without interference. These individuals possess a unique kind of strength. It's not the brash, outward strength of a fighter or a political leader. It's the quiet strength of self-sufficiency, of contentment with one's lot in life. This strength allows them to weather hardships, to bend without breaking, to endure what must be endured while focusing on what truly matters, their own lives and the well-being of their loved ones. But make no mistake, chosen ones, this quiet strength, this desire for peace, is not weakness. Far from it. It is a choice, and a powerful one at that. These individuals choose peace not because they are incapable of violence, but because they understand the value of a life lived on one's own terms. Now, let's consider what happens when these peaceful individuals are pushed too far. Solzhenitsyn describes it as a form of suicide, the death of their former selves. This is not mere poetic language. It's a profound psychological truth. When a person who has built their entire identity around peace and non-interference is forced to fight, They don't just change their behavior. They undergo a fundamental transformation of their very being. The peaceful farmer doesn't just pick up a weapon. He becomes a warrior. The quiet teacher doesn't just join a resistance. She becomes a revolutionary. It's a death and rebirth, a phoenix rising from the ashes of their former lives. And in this rebirth lies the terrifying power that Solzhenitsyn describes. These reluctant warriors fight with unholy vengeance and raw hate because they're not just fighting an enemy. They're fighting against the very forces that destroyed their peaceful existence. Every act of violence they commit is a requiem for the peace they once knew, a lament for the simple life that was taken from them. This, mystics, is why Solzhenitsyn describes them as the most terrifying force of death. Their motivation goes beyond politics, beyond ideology, beyond any of the usual reasons people go to war. They fight with the desperation of those who have lost everything and the single-minded focus of those who want nothing more than to return to a life of peace. Now, let's consider the broader implications of this observation. In our world today, we often celebrate the loud, the brash, the overtly powerful. We idolize leaders who make grand gestures and bold statements. But Solzhenitsyn's words remind us that true power often lies dormant in the most unexpected places. Those quiet neighbors who keep to themselves, the unassuming coworker, the silent majority who seem uninvolved in the grand dramas of politics and social change. They may well be the most formidable force in society, a sleeping giant that, when awakened, can reshape the world. This has profound implications for how we view power dynamics in our world. Those who seek to exploit others, who try to bully or coerce those they perceive as weak, would do well to heed Solzhenitsyn's warning. The most dangerous opponent is not the one who fights back immediately, but the one who endures until they can endure no more. But this isn't just a warning for would-be oppressors. It's a call for all of us to recognize and respect the quiet strength of those who simply want to live their lives in peace. It's a reminder that the desire to be left alone is not apathy or weakness, but a choice that carries within it the potential for immense power. For those of you chosen ones who identify with these peace-loving individuals, know this: your restraint is not weakness. Your desire for a simple, uninterrupted life is not a character flaw. It is a choice, and a brave one at that. You carry within you the potential for great change, for fierce protection of what you hold dear. Your power lies in your choice to keep that potential dormant, to maintain your peaceful existence. But also know this: if the time comes when you can no longer maintain that peace, when you are forced to fight back, you will find within yourself a strength you never knew existed. You will become a force of nature, a terrifying embodiment of justice and retribution. Now let's ponder for a moment the societal implications of Solzhenitsyn's observation. In a world that often seems to reward aggression and domination, his words serve as a stark reminder of the power of peace and the consequences of disturbing it. Perhaps in light of this, we should reconsider how we approach conflict resolution, both on a personal and a global scale. Perhaps true strength lies not in the ability to exert our will upon others, but in the capacity to live and let live, to coexist without interference. Consider, too, the implications for leadership and governance. A wise leader, understanding the terrible power that resides in those who simply want to be left alone, might choose a path of minimal interference. They might recognize that the most stable society is one where individuals are free to live their lives as they see fit, without undue pressure or coercion. But Solzhenitsyn's words are not just a political or social commentary. They offer profound insight into the human psyche, into the nature of identity and transformation. They speak to the incredible adaptability of the human spirit, to our capacity to become whatever we need to be in order to survive and protect what we hold dear. This transformation from peaceful individual to terrifying warrior is not something to be celebrated, but it is something to be understood and respected. It's a testament to the depths of human resilience, to our ability to adapt even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Now, mystics, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own lives. Have you ever been pushed to your limits? Have you ever felt the stirring of that dormant power within you? Or perhaps you've witnessed this transformation in others. A peaceful person pushed too far, becoming a force to be reckoned with. Understanding this aspect of human nature can be both enlightening and unsettling. It forces us to confront the potential for violence that exists within all of us, even those who abhor it most. But it also illuminates the incredible strength that lies in choosing peace, in choosing to be left alone. As we contemplate these profound truths, let us consider how they might shape our interactions with others, our understanding of society, and our own personal philosophies. Let us cultivate respect for those quiet individuals who ask for nothing more than to be left in peace. Let us recognize the strength in restraint, the power in non-interference, and let us be mindful of the consequences of pushing peaceful people too far. For when the sleeping giant awakens, when the dormant volcano erupts, the world trembles in its wake. Remember, chosen ones, true power often lies in the hands of those who choose not to use it. But when that choice is taken away, when peace is no longer an option, the resulting force is more terrifying than anything this world has ever seen. So I ask you, are you one of those who simply wants to be left alone? Or are you one who might, intentionally or unintentionally, provoke such individuals? Either way, heed Solzhenitsyn's words carefully, for in them lies a truth about human nature that, once understood, can never be unseen. The universe whispers its secrets to those who listen, mystics, and today, through the words of a man who endured unimaginable hardship, it has shared with us a profound and terrifying truth. What will you do with this knowledge? How will it shape your understanding of the world, of others, of yourself? The choice, as always, is yours. But remember, every choice has consequences, and some consequences are more terrifying than others. As we conclude our exploration of this profound truth, I urge you to carry these insights with you. Let them inform your actions, your judgments, your understanding of the world around you. Recognize the quiet strength in those who seek peace and respect their choice to be left alone. And if you yourself are one of those peaceful individuals, stand firm in your choice. Know that your desire for a simple, uninterrupted life is not a weakness, but a form of strength that many fail to recognize. But also be aware of the potential that lies dormant within you, the terrible, awesome power that can be awakened if you're pushed too far. Stay vigilant, stay peaceful, and above all, stay true to yourselves, for in your authenticity lies your greatest strength, and potentially your most terrifying power. The wisdom of Solzhenitsyn, born from suffering and hardship, serves as both a warning and a revelation. Heed it well, mystics, for in understanding it, you understand a fundamental truth. of our world, and of yourselves.